Appreciate everybody coming. Welcome, as always. Um, Greg, do you have a thought of the day?
You're muted. You're muted, Greg.
No, you're still muted, Greg.
He's got
Maybe,
thoughts. He's just not sharing.
maybe jump in, maybe go ahead and then he can jump in when he's back up and running.
All right. I was gonna say this is going swimmingly so far. As we're setting the program calendar for the coming year, we need your input. What topics or issues are you interested in hearing about? Be sure to share your ideas and connections. Our speaker next week, Thursday, December 18th, we're downtown at the Columbia Club. It's Dr. Rich Schneider, Kiwanis, retired chair of the pediatrics department and physician in chief at Riley. He'll tell us more about the Riley Centennial and the historical marker that was just installed. A kid again will join us for a grant recap. A special thank you to Perry Meridian Key Clubbers, Laura Holloway, Graham Honecker, Carol Orbison, and Duke Haddad, who manned the Salvation Army bell ringing at Kroger at 71st and Binford. Tomorrow I'll be out there along with Karen Burns, Bob Lowry, Carol again, Carol Orbison, and Steve Robinson. There is an extra spot for 5 to 6 p.m. if anybody is looking for a charitable endeavor on a Friday night, 5 to 6 p.m. On Friday, I wish, December 19th, thanks to Roger and Eric Rowland and Chuck Cotterman. We still have an opening for that day from 4 to 5 p.m. So opening spot 5 to 6 tomorrow and 4 to 5 next week. So if you've got time to burn and want to lend a hand to the Salvation Army, that'd be outstanding. Roger, update on IOZOs and the lunches.
Well, we had a lunch Tuesday at the IOZO's. There were six of us. We're talking about maybe not staying on Tuesday, but we wanted to try it out. So we're going to be a little bit flexible the next couple of months, see what works. We may even move the location a couple times a year to get a little closer to the north side for people that can't make the trek down. But other than that, going great. Come and eat Italian with us. Thanks, thanks, Jeff.
All right. Greg, do you have your audio figured out? I'll take that as a no.
Am I on now?
You are.
Okay, wait. Thank you for
Henry Schaefer of Covenant Christian is coached by our 2009 recipient, Luke Sifries. His dad, Bruce Sifries, joined him at the lunch. So that was sort of a special event. And Kelly, I don't recall what school was that? Decatur Central?
Covenant Christian.
Covenant Christian. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, Kelly does a stellar job with this event. She does all the organization. We just do the picking, the selecting, and sort of assist her. But she really does an outstanding job with this event. So she needs to be congratulated for that, for her involvement. So it was a really fun time. And yeah, here's some pictures. And the lower right corner is Sandy Lynch, who is the Lieutenant Governor, Metro North Lieutenant Governor. Any questions? Comments? Anybody that was there? Can they comment on the event? Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate all the work that you do on that year over year, and thank you to all the people that you identified.
Yeah, it was.
Earlier.
I've got a great committee.
Steve Farrow, basketball update.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm on the road, so not on screen, but listening in. And I'll add one more name to Chuck's report on the football program. I got to sit next to our newest member, who's a rejoining member, Ann Updegraff Spleth is rejoining the club. I know that you know her very well, Jeff, from her
I do.
time with the International Foundation. And really pleased to have someone of Ann's caliber and knowledge of Kiwanis rejoining the club. But basketball is coming up. We're in basketball season now. And our high school girls luncheon will be for the state finals will be on February 25th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And the boys luncheon will be on March 26th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Now, those are weekdays. I'm not sure exactly what weekdays. They're not on Fridays like it has been in the past, but since moving the luncheon to Gainbridge, our luncheon coincides with their practice days. So all the final teams for girls and boys will be there, and we'll be selecting our scholarship recipients for those events. So look forward to those basketball championship luncheons. And I think we've got some Indianapolis area teams that will have a good chance to be there. So look forward to that.
Excellent. Thank you, Steve. Karen.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. Hey, I love to hear about these great programs. Many of you may have received the solicitation on behalf of the foundation. And I know that you all know that the foundation supports the scholarships and the grants and these programs. This year alone, Kiwanis Foundation invested more than $300,000 in scholarships, service projects, and youth programs that help young people discover what's possible. The people of this club, present and past, have made that possible. And together we're building a stronger Indianapolis, one where every child has support and every dream has a chance. I ask that as you consider your year-end giving, please consider donating to the Kiwanis Foundation. If you didn't get the appeal, Kelly would be happy to help you. I think she might be able to put the QR code in the chat. But we certainly appreciate the support. It's important. And the Kiwanis Foundation has been able to further the Kiwanis mission because of you. So thank you. Can I answer any questions? Again, I thank you for your consideration and all of your generosity.
Thank you, Karen. Laura and Trina, update on Radiothon.
Yeah, I can start here. Just want to invite all of you to listen on Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. We will be having our segment featuring Kiwanis during the Salvation Army's Radiothon, presenting a big check, $5,000 to the Salvation Army's. It's the 31st annual Radiothon. And right after this call, I'm going to talk to somebody at Radio One who's going to ask me some questions about Key Club because we're celebrating our 100th year of Key Club International. And I just want to tell about the impact that our club has with the key clubs that we have. We have over 200 students that we work with, have an impact on through our sponsorships. So just think that that's a great local impact and then a global impact as well. Our goal this year is to get to over 250,000 members worldwide. So that's exciting, and I hope you guys can tune in on Saturday morning. And Trina will be there in person to get that check.
Excellent. Trina, anything to add or?
Nope, I get the easy job of just presenting the very big check. I I think we may have skipped over as well Wendy's update on Abe Lincoln. So if I can steal a moment for her.
I did skip over that.
Oh.
I was saving it because it's extra special.
Oh,
great.
sorry.
No,
Now for Wendy's extra special report.
I completely skipped over it. Yeah, absolutely. No, she's on the call. So if you're done with your update, let's go to the Abe Lincoln update. Apologies, Wendy.
All right, that's all right. Thank you. I'll be brief. Well, yesterday was the deadline for our nominations, and I'm happy to report that we had 24. So there were 24 students recognized at our Circle of Valor, and there will be, let's see, we have three higher scholarships, 20,000, 18,000, and 16,000 payable over 4 years. And then next year, up to 3 finalists will receive $10,000. The next event is going to be the interview day. That's January 10th at Butler. And the luncheon itself is on February 13th. I encourage everyone to attend. Please tell neighbors, friends, colleagues, this is a really worthwhile event. And these students are phenomenal. And, to Greg's point earlier about state of the country, it's just great to know that there's some good things going on and some people worthy of being patted on the back. So, thank you.
Thank you, Wendy, for all the work you do on that every year. You and your team. Appreciate it very much. Mary, are you on the call? I don't see her. I'd like to welcome Emily Lyerson, Managing Director of the Indianapolis Children's Choir, and Lauren Southard, Manager of Outreach and Choir Programs. Please tell us about the 5,000 grant provided by the foundation to expand your Music at Play program at IPS for youth and IPS at Washington Township.
Hi, thank you all so much for having us and thanks for your support. We are really grateful for Kiwanis' longtime support of the Indianapolis Children's Choir. And the grant this year went to our early childhood programs, which are called Music at Play, to enable tuition assistance and assistance to schools that wouldn't otherwise be able to participate or afford these programs. So we know music education is very important in early childhood. So I'm going to turn this over to Lauren. She has a little slideshow to go over things in more detail.
I also see that you got your giant check. So that's important. I'd like to see you walk into the bank with that, by the way.
We always love a giant check.
Thanks, Emily. I'm Lauren. I am the Director of Outreach and Choir Programs for ICC, and I oversee the early childhood program, amongst other things, and actually write the curriculum for this program. So it's very near to my heart, and I want to thank you myself for your support of Music at Play. Music at Play encompasses, as I'm sure many of you have seen, the Indianapolis Children's Choir goes all the way up through high school, and we're around our community and our city all the time. But Music at Play starts at 18 months old with the toddlers and goes up through until they get to kindergarten, at which point they go into another program, so through 5 years old. And I'm going to attempt to share some pictures here, and I'll just tell you really quickly a little bit about everything we do in Music at Play. So hopefully you can see that. Emily, can you see that? Okay, good. So Music at Play has a lot of different areas that we serve and a lot of different ways that we reach out to children. So both here in our building at 9111 Allisonville Road in Indianapolis, and then also in preschools around Indianapolis, where we go to them so that children can have access to our programming when they otherwise might not. So here we are at Wayne Township Preschool, which is one of our largest areas that we serve. They reach sometimes upwards of 500 plus children with mostly developmental needs and other special things going on. And we're so happy to be there with them. This is in our ICC building here. We also have outreach days throughout the year where sometimes families can come for free to take part in our programs, sometimes for a very, very small fee. And so your support helps us with all of that. We're very fortunate to be where we are, but also to be able to send our staff out to wherever we need to be to serve all children. Again, at the preschool here, the teachers tend to send me a lot of feedback. So they'll be out on the playground. This is out on the playground, and they will take a video and send it to me. I'm the teacher who goes to that preschool, and they'll say, oh my gosh, the kids started playing on their own, and they were using the music lesson that you had done, and they were translating it outside to recess. So the 5 green speckled frogs that we were singing about were suddenly standing on a log and jumping around at recess. And so it really does impact their lives greatly, and we love to see the evidence of that. And we just thank you. But we wanted to just give you a minute. If you have any questions, we are here to answer them.
Any questions? It is our pleasure to continue to support you, and we appreciate everything that you do for the Indianapolis community. So thank you for joining us today and sharing what it is that you've got going. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Blaine, I appreciate your patience with us as we work through the work of the club. Tarina, can you please introduce our speaker, Blaine Zimmerman?
It's my pleasure. And I love hearing everything that's going on in Indy, from the children's choir to our local chamber. I'm thrilled that Blaine Zimmerman could join us today. He leads Indy Chamber's regional talent and image initiatives, institutional marketing, and communications. So in short, he basically does it all. He focuses on developing strategic plans, executing key talent attraction and retention programs, and enhancing the Chamber's engagement with both public and private stakeholders. He'll speak to us today specifically about youth talent development and retention in Indianapolis, but I'm sure he'll be open to questions about just about anything that the Chamber is up to. He joined the Indy Chamber in 2024 with a diverse background in startups, nonprofits, and corporate sectors. He completed his MBA at Butler and has served for 16 years in military leadership. As president and CEO of InVets, he developed marketing strategies that attracted over 1,600 veterans and their families to Indiana, that generated more than $30 million in economic impact. He's on the board of the Indiana War Memorial Foundation and is a graduate of the Stanley K. Lacey Leadership Series. You try to say that. Anyway, without further ado, Blaine, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I feel like that was far too much, and my presentation won't be as long as my intro. So thank you for having me today. I actually had the pleasure of presenting to your club a few years ago when I was the CEO of InVets, and I'm glad that I made just enough of an impression to be able to be invited back. So thanks for having me, everybody. I'm going to run through a few slides. I'm going to try to keep it as conversational as possible. So please jump in if you have any questions. If you'd prefer to wait to the end for questions, that's completely fine as well. I'm going to attempt to share my screen here, and we'll get going. Okay. So, oh no, did that the wrong way. So as a chamber, we have, three real main pillars of priorities: people, place, and business. Where my main function comes in is on the people side. As Trina said, I came from a background of working with military members as they transition out of the military to help them find great careers here in Indianapolis. And I, shifted into a little bit larger of a scale, but the goal is still the same, which is to get as many, not only high school graduating Hoosiers, but as many folks into the Hoosier state, specifically into the Indianapolis region as possible. The way we look at it as a chamber is really from three main areas. So we've got our homegrown Hoosiers. So thinking about how we can upskill our high school graduates to either increase the college going rate or ensure that our high school graduates have the ability to have a very high earning career as soon as they graduate high school. Graduate retention. So trying to retain, we all know, and we're all proud alumni of multiple different colleges and universities throughout the state. Obviously, Butler's the best of them, but we all want that great college talent to stay here when they graduate as well, because we've got great universities. We've got great knowledge within those universities. How do we keep that talent here in Central Indiana to really improve our businesses, but also our communities? And then on top of that, how do we just purely attract people that may have never had a touch point to Indianapolis or Central Indiana or Indiana as a whole? How do we think about attracting those folks into our region and having them think about Indianapolis or Central Indiana as a place that they would want to live? So as we look through, I'll kind of touch on some of those points in a little bit more detail, but we'll talk through kind of like what we've looked at or what it looked like for us in 2025. So when we think about homegrown Hoosiers, again, we're thinking about upskilling and reskilling for high school talent. We were actually awarded a $1.65 million grant from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation to help do work in the Indiana Career Apprenticeship Pathway Program. This is a new concept to the state. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the new high school degree that's going to be rolling out in 2030, but high schools and high schoolers are going to have to make that choice. Do I want to go through the work-based learning platform, or do I want to go through the traditional college going field? And what NCAP does is it provides a pathway for those folks that decide they want to go through the work-based learning path. Before I dive too deep into that, I do want to clarify, if you do choose the work-based learning path, that does not mean you're not going to college. It's simply a different path to get your high school to graduate or to get your high school degree. It's very possible for you to go straight from there into college, but what it does is it gives you a leg up if you're ready to go straight into the workforce. The state's modeled this program on the Swiss model. So I've been lucky enough to go to Switzerland twice this year, and I'm heading back in April of next year. If anybody needs any good restaurant recommendations in Zurich, I probably have a few for you. But it's been a really fascinating look at how another country does something really well and how we can adopt it. Indiana is really leading the nation when it comes to high school apprenticeships. There's only two other states that are along the same path as we are. It's us, Colorado, and New York. We're the ones that are furthest along because we're the ones that kind of brought the legislators along with us from the beginning to be able to, really get this program off the ground. And what that's going to look like is, while high school students are in high school in their junior and senior year, they'll be able to do apprenticeships with businesses throughout the Indianapolis area. Well, it's statewide, but our focus is the Indianapolis area. That's giving them real world experience that counts towards high school credit. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions about the apprenticeship pathway throughout the state is most people, when they think of apprenticeships, they think of the trades. That's not going away. Obviously, the trades will still really need the apprenticeship pathway to get through: plumbing, electrician, things like that. What's really unique about this is more business-oriented, white-collar type work. So the 6 industries that are doing the rollout of the apprenticeship phase are healthcare, life sciences, IT, construction, banking, and hospitality. So that we'll be hosting an apprenticeship fair over the next 2 years. So more to follow on that. We're really excited about being able to host that fair and show the high schoolers real hands-on learning of what they could be doing in their junior and senior years as they complete their high school degrees with real life paid earning experience. When we think about college graduate retention, what we're really thinking about, so there's Indiana colleges and universities bring in about 25,000 out-of-state and international students to the state every year to our great colleges and universities. Makes total sense. Why wouldn't you want to go to one of our schools? The problem with that number is 4 years later, we lose 34,000 grads to other states and countries. So we're net negative 10,000 college students every single year going out the door. How do we start to close that gap? Well, we've created a few different programs because one of our hypotheses is that students aren't really experiencing what it's like to live in central Indiana while they're in school. I use the example of, you may spend 4 years in Bloomington or West Lafayette, Indiana, and the only time you came to Indianapolis was to get on a plane to fly home for the holidays. What we have created over the last 3 years is the Fast Forward program, which is a way for college interns to get Indianapolis experiences. We provide them the opportunity to do networking experiences. This year we had 800 come to our massive networking event, but then we also had 6 different networking events throughout the year to where those college interns were not only interacting with each other, but finding other great things to do in the city. So they were able to go to an Indianapolis Indians game. They were able to go to Indiana Fever game, the state fair. We had a special concert for them at Rock the Ruins. Excuse me, I'm on the back end of an illness, so I apologize. So we gave them really great experience. Oh, and then they were able to experience Symphony on the Prairie, gave them experiences so they could see themselves living here in Indianapolis. And we firmly believe that that is something that is going to be really impactful when it comes time to going to find their first job. Hey, I saw myself having a great time there. I see that place as some place that I would want to live for the first few years out of college. I want to start to apply for jobs in Indianapolis. I'll talk a little bit more about how we're going to expand that program, but we were really excited about what we were able to accomplish this year. Like I said, over 800 college interns that were represented by over 93 universities and 76 different employers that were the hirers of those interns. And then finally, from our peer talent attraction standpoint, we've partnered with an organization called Make My Move. Make My Move is a program that was traditionally built for more rural communities coming out the back end of the pandemic to try to attract remote workers to move into their rural communities. Traditionally, that was done through a cash incentive. So remote workers would apply to move to a place like Jasper or a Seymour or a place like that. And if they were selected, they had different criteria based on which town it was going to. They would get a cash incentive to move to those towns. We're the largest metropolitan area that has adopted this program, and rather than lean into it from a cash perspective, what we've done is we've leaned into it from a regional perspective. So we've partnered with CERTA, the Central Indiana Regional Economic Development Authority. So about 25 mayors from local regions, and we've said, hey, we're going to provide an experiential package to Indianapolis as somebody moves to the Indianapolis region. If you guys will also kick in an experiential package for whatever town in the region they move to. So, for example, if you came in and moved to Noblesville, you're getting from us a really cool, Indianapolis t-shirt and hat and Pacers tickets and Colts tickets and concert tickets. And then Noblesville's kicking in coffee with the mayor, as well as, a free round of golf at Prairie View. And there's a lot of different examples of that. But as you can see on the slide, we moved over 140 residents just in this pilot program this year. And those residents held a household income of above $156,000. And that was just during Q2 and Q3 of this year. So as we're able to expand that program and build it out for a full year, really the sky's the limit with that. What I find really fascinating and really unique about this is we've now opened up the doors for that program to be available for job seekers, not just remote workers, which means we'll now be able to partner with our membership organization or membership companies and say, what are the jobs that you need so bad to fill? And then we can go use the Make My Move program to further incentivize their recruiting efforts. So some of our big swings here in the next couple of years. and I'm trying to stay on time. I want to make sure I'm giving people enough time for questions. I could talk about this all day. It's something I'm very passionate about. So I explained the 25,000 incoming, 34,000 outgoing. What we want to do with Fast Forward is we're planning this year to create a pilot program to expand that to first year students. So in your very first year of college, we're looking to create a pilot program so that freshmen are getting experience in downtown Indianapolis and ideally getting a mentor that is an alumni of their university that's going to be, available for contact throughout their 4 years of college. It's not only going to be important for them to understand what it's like as a lifestyle of living in central Indiana, but we all know that the number one key to getting that first job is somebody that you know. If you have that mentor for 4 years, that's an alumni of your university that's willing to go to bat for you, you have a much higher chance of getting a job. And what we're seeing on the job market in the coming years is college students are going to be moving where the opportunity is. So that's we're looking at building out that pilot program most likely with Purdue University with the incoming freshmen for the next year's class next fall. We're still working out some of the details of that, but what's really beneficial is they already have the Boiler Express bus that runs back and forth from West Lafayette to Indianapolis, and the administration seems to be very on board. We're just ironing out some details there. And then finally, our visitor to resident pipeline is another big swing we're taking this year. Knowing that we host all of these amazing sports events every year. And this year, we're doing another unprecedented Final Four. So, unlike in 2021, when we hosted the entire NCAA tournament, this year we're hosting not only the Division I, but the Division II and the Division III national championships, as well as the NIT Final Four. What that means is there'll be 12 different universities represented in the city of Indianapolis over 5 days. Where that's important is that we're going to be able to engage these fans and the students that are of these universities that are coming to watch their teams play, to not only give them a great experience that weekend, but get them out of the mile square, get them into areas that they could see themselves living. And then when it comes around to later in the spring, when it comes internship or job searching season, they're going to hear back from us and say, hey, you had a great time in Indianapolis. Have you ever thought about doing your internship here? Have you thought about starting your career in Indianapolis? So we see this as a really great opportunity to have an active, captive audience right in front of us that we can show them how great this city is to live in, especially as a young professional, and then help them have that pipeline straight to that first career. So I hope that I didn't talk too fast. I hope that you could understand me even through my nasally voice. I am going to stop there and open the door to any questions that any of you all may have.
I've got a comment, Blaine. When a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I saw a documentary by Michael Moore on education. And one of the places he really spent some time was in Finland and Switzerland, talking about this apprenticeship school for high school kids, which seemed really interesting to me, along with several other ideas that those countries do that we don't do, that I thought was very neat. So I'm glad to see you doing this, you guys forwarding this program. I think it's going to be wonderful for a lot of kids.
Thank you. And it's a fascinating model to look at. And in my 2 trips to Switzerland this year, one of the things that's really crazy is you go to your hotel and the person checking you into the hotel is a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
You go to the restaurant and your waiter is a 16-year-old. And I mean, it's so prevalent in the society. And what it really does is it creates really mature, really responsible young adults.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've been over there with has come home and said, man, those are some of the most emotionally mature teenagers I've ever met. So it has a lot more than just work prep and education. It's a really good, maturity builder within the kids as well.
Yeah. Really neat. Doing some neat things. It sounds awesome.
So the program basically trying to get our college graduates to stay within the state. In the case of me, I grew up in Indiana. I went to Ball State, and when I graduated, I was like, I'm getting the heck out of Indiana. Then I disappeared for 10 years and then realized Indiana is actually a good place to raise a family. Start having kids, come back. Indianapolis is a great town, and it's inexpensive, relatively. Is there something similar to what you're doing with college graduates to, I don't know, capture some of the bounce backers?
Yeah, boomerangs.
Boomerangs. Yeah, that's
Yep.
probably a better word than bounce backers.
Yeah, no, yeah. So we have a couple of specific programs with Boomerang. So we consider from on the Make My Move platform that I talked about, we consider boomerangs the low-hanging fruit there. So those are the first ones we're targeting. And then we also have a partnership with Central Indiana Corporate Partnership, CICP, where we meet quarterly with all the colleges and universities, and we actually use shared language, and we help their marketing departments come up with language that they send out to their alumni groups or to their alumni listservs to encourage them to think about looking back at moving back to Indiana. So one of the most recent ones that went out in Q4, the messaging that went out to their boomerang group was Indiana is a little bit different than you left it, and you might be different than when you left as well. Maybe it's time to relook at it. So yeah, we absolutely do have that as one of our outreach mechanisms.
How long has that been in place?
I think this year's the first year that we've really gotten kind of like formal with making sure that we meet on a quarterly basis and then kind of have shared language, because I think that shared language is important, right? So, if I'm going to use Ball State as an example, if you were married to somebody that went to Valparaiso and you lived in Omaha, if Valparaiso's hitting you with the same messaging as Ball State is, it becomes a little bit more powerful. And so we really thought that it was important that we all kind of worked together and had a shared language when we were reaching out to those boomerang students. And I also think it means a lot more when it's coming from your alma mater than when it's coming from the Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, that answers my question, because I was going to say, have you seen any data that has shown, oh, this is the low-hanging fruit. It's absolutely worth our time to go after them. Listen, for all our foibles, we don't have mountains or oceans, but or beaches, but we, in my opinion, have a lot to offer. Everybody's got their dirty laundry. Every city, every state. There's
You're
certainly.
preaching the choir there. I've spent the last 7 years of my life selling Indiana to people, so.
So yeah, that's good. It'll be interesting to see how well that works. Any other questions for Blaine? Laura Holloway.
Sorry,
ahead,
Trina,
Laura.
go ahead.
I was just going to commend you on seeking out the first year, or really nurturing the first year college students. Someone in leadership at Butler shared with the alumni board recently that students are making their decision of whether to come back for second semester within the first 4 or 6 weeks of school. So certainly they're thinking that early about where they're going to plant roots afterward, whether they're actively thinking about it or not. Question for you is, what are graduates or young professionals looking for in a city? Like, as we talk to them through mentorship or casual conversation, what do they want to hear from us that we can tout? We have a lot of assets. What should we amplify?
Are you talking college grads or high school?
College grads or college students.
Yeah. So you're asking that question in an incredibly interesting time, because that tide is shifting. So what the data is showing us right now is, for the past probably 5 to 10 years, students were looking for place, or recent grads were looking for place-based initiatives, because they knew that they could go to a place that they could enjoy their early 20s and find a job anywhere. And so that's where we're seeing a lot of the migration to the Nashvilles, the Denvers, the Austins of the world, and Charlotte to a lesser extent. What we're starting to see, that needle start to move the other way, because the job market is getting a little bit tighter. where college grads are starting to think, I need to go where I'm going to find the best job. And so to, I guess, more specifically answer that question, you kind of have to meet them in the middle there and say, here are the great industries and open available career paths that are here for you. And here's the lifestyle that you can live in that within that, salary range in our city. I think one of the things that, kind of could potentially resonate, right? If you've talked to a recent grad that maybe went to a bachelorette party in Broadway in Nashville, and they had a lot of fun, and in their underdeveloped 21, 22-year-old brain think, I had fun there. I should live there. When you really break down the cost of living between Nashville and Indianapolis, you'll spend more time going out in Broadway living in Indianapolis on an Indianapolis salary than you would living in Nashville on a Nashville salary. So it's finding that blend of that. We have these great place-based initiatives, but your money's going to go a lot further here. And with what's coming on the horizon on the job market, make sure you have the secure job before you start thinking about the place.
Perfect. Thank you. Laura, over to you.
Yeah, that was actually basically my question was how do we talk to the students that we work with? And I work predominantly with high school students, but I think that message still applies. But now my question is, where can I find that information that you described about the opportunities here in Indianapolis? Could I direct them to someplace online to find more out?
For like the fast forward programming?
Yeah, and reasons to opportunities that exist here in Indianapolis once they graduate college.
Yep, I will. Yeah, so we have a lot of those resources on our Life in Indy website, and I will send all that to Trina to distribute because that seems like that might be the most efficient way to get it to everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah, we actually have a really cool lifestyle resource called Life in Indy, where we have we call them Indyfluencers that are they write different blogs about different parts of the city and different things to do, but then they also volunteer their time to like take one-on-one meetings with people that are interested in learning more about living in the city. So it can be, yep, there it is, lifeinindy.com. I've got a few other resources I can share as well, but yeah, it's a really great program.
Did you call them Indyfluencers?
I did. I did. That's because
Did you come up with that? You
I
came
did
up with
not.
that.
I'm not going to take credit for that, but you know what? If it works, you got to run with it, right?
Absolutely. That caught my attention. Any other questions for Blaine? Blaine, we appreciate you joining us today. The Kiwanis Foundation of Indianapolis will be making a donation in your honor to a kid again. They bring hope and happiness through cost-free adventures where children with life-threatening conditions and their families laugh, connect, and feel normal again. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, and I hope everybody has a great holiday season and New Year.
Just a reminder, our speaker next week is downtown. We're back downtown at the Columbia Club. Please come December 18th, Dr. Rich Schneider. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
See you, everybody.
Great day.